Manager wanted to hear this afternoon. So he is unavailable tonight. And Houston Street, George, earned his save yesterday, but he had to pitch, had to throw quite a few darts, and he's been very busy the last 10 days. The Rockies would like to stay away from him.
Well, you'd love to get a complete game out of Marquis tonight. You don't know if that's happening. Here's what you just talked about. The wheels of McCutchen very quickly released by Tulowitzki for the first out of the ball game.
So McCutchen out of Fort Meade, Florida, is the first out of the night. Here's the Rockies defensively. Carlos Gonzalez, Dexter Fowler, and Brad Hopp in the outfield. Ian Stewart, Troy Tulowitzki left side, Clint Barmas, Todd Helton right side, Chris Iannetta doing the catching. Well, you like that, George. Couple of pitches, you got yourself an out.
Yeah, you like that. Get the ball on the ground, let this defense work for you. And they're going to honor the speed, obviously, of Morgan with Ian Stewart very tight at third base.
Nyjer Morgan at 256, and he takes a fastball in the outside corner for a strike. Oh for 3 in one ball game in Pittsburgh against the Rockies. That's strike 2. The Pirates took 2 of 3 against Colorado at PNC. Pittsburgh actually comes to Denver twice this year. They'll be back in the middle of August for a 3-game set. Here's the 1-2. Oh, got him on the foot. Slider that he was trying to get to the back foot, and he hit the front foot, George.
Yeah, just hung on to it a little bit too long. I think Marquis would tell you the same exact thing. Trying to spin this thing down underneath that backside. Just caught him right on the foot. Let's take a look at Bird Auto Keys for this ball game tonight. Jason Marquis takes on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The right guys on the hill with the absence of Manny Corpus and a tired Houston Street rolling at the top of the order. I think that's important for the Rockies, being able to handle that, and the defense behind him will play an important role. We've already seen that with one ground ball to Tulowitzki.
And Morgan typically gets a big lead. He's got 16 bags. He's been caught 7 times. Freddie Sanchez at the plate, one of the more underrated hitters in the game for me.
Great back control.
He really does, George. He'll use the whole park, and won a batting title a couple of years ago. There goes Morgan, and that kicks off his leg. He's an out. That's out. He's got to be an out. There's no indication by the second base umpire, Mike Riley. He had to see it. And that ball hit off his leg. Barmas is about to, you know what? Behind the plate, I think Laz Diaz saw it. Laz Diaz indicating he's out.
Well, and Morgan knew it too. When the ball hit him, he stopped running at second base.
I mean, what's John Russell's argument?
He's going to say the play's right out in front of Mike Riley. How could Riley not see the ball come right at it?
It has scored a base hit for Freddie Sanchez, which is a break. Freddie does not run well. It was going to be a double play ball.
Well, you know what, you say that, it's been pretty close. Morgan can fly. You see that ball just hopped up, caught him right on the shin, redirected it into the outfield. I don't think they could have turned 2 here. I think Morgan would have been safe at second, but I also think that Barmas obviously would have had a play over at first base on him. You know what? Morgan just stopped, tilted his head down. I knew the ball hit him.
You know what, George, after watching that replay, I think you're right. I don't think they would have had a play on Morgan, and it works out even better for the Rockies because instead of a runner in scoring position at 2 outs, that runner's at first base. Hey, you know,
I don't know. He wants to go out and visit a minute too with Mike Riley.
Now, what could that be about? I mean, they got the call right.
Well, maybe trying to say, well, maybe just what you were talking about, a double play may have happened. You can't rule that. The ball was dead once it hits the player.
That's 4 unassisted is the put out. It's a base hit for Freddie Sanchez. One of the stranger hits Freddie will get in his career. Adam LaRoche comes up. 9 home runs, 32 driven in.
Well, he's really swung a hot bat of late. It's been one of the things that he's been able to do. 352 in the month of June. A couple of home runs. 8 home runs against right-handers. His average down 261, about where it is for the season. 260, 9 home runs, 32 RBIs.
that bounces up there. Ball one. Both LaRoche brothers have come on offensively. This is a Pirate team that has been winning baseball games, and they're 17-14 over their last 31. Nothing to be ashamed of. They've been doing it, George, with starting pitching and defense. Sound familiar?
Yeah, well, that's kind of what you have to do to win baseball games. The Rockies have been able to do it. LaRoche 360 at home, amazingly just 181 out on the road.
You remember these guys when they were little, George, when you played with Dad?
Well, you remember them running around the locker room a little bit. The youngest one wasn't born yet.
2-0, grounded right to Helton. He'll tag the bag, and that's all for the Pirates in the first. Took Jason Marquis 10 pitches to get the 3 outs. Go in the bottom of the first inning, trying to make it 14 out of their last 15. Jim Tracy 15-5 since taking over as manager for Clint Hurdle. Dexter Fowler will lead it off, then Clint Barmas. Todd Helton in the 3-hole. Brad Hoff is eating up the Pirates this year. Troy Tulowitzki coming on. Ian Stewart, Carlos Gonzalez, Chris Iannetta, and Jason Marquis. Here's the Fidelity scouting report on the former Yankee Ross Ohlendorf out of Princeton.
87-92 will average 89 out of the windup. Most of the time 88 out of the stretch. Slider and curveball have same action, just a little more velocity. He will use the changeup on left-handers. Likes to run the sinker away with a lot of fade to it. There's the first pitch in.
Well, that was a sinking fastball beneath Fowler's knees. Dexter at 6'4". And that's in there for a strike. Andy LaRoche about 70 feet away on the grass at third. Jack Wilson's kind of shaded up the middle, so there's a big hole on the left side between short and third. This ball is down the right field line, past a diving Adam LaRoche. Dexter to second, taking a look. He'll stop there. A leadoff double for Fowler.
th double for Dexter on the season. This ball shot right by LaRoche on the first base side on a ball in. Good to see Dexter turn on it. You can see LaRoche well off the line early in the ball game, not able to jump and get this one, and he's a big man. And it's Dexter off to the races. Now this is why Clint Barmas hits second too. He has the ability to drive in runs, but he really has the ability to move the runners over. Goodness, look at that hole in between short and third. Guess they felt Clint's going to go to the right side an awful lot. They've got it overloaded.
Yeah, that's what he tried to do. Barmas told me a couple of days ago his whole focus right now when he comes up is I'm trying to hit a line drive to right field. It has helped him, George, stay back.
Well, it has helped him stay back, but you can't help but look and see the hole that's presented for you with Wilson.
And normally, defensively, you would have the second baseman hawking that runner at second with a right-handed bat. They have it the complete opposite way, assuming naturally that Barmes is going to go to the right side, try to move the runner. 0-2 on Clint, and he gets a ground ball to short. Good read by Fowler. Wilson will throw out Barmes. You know, Dexter, George, for a kid at the big league level, really does a nice job running the bases.
Well, he understands what he was hit before him. He realized the ball was pretty slow. He knew Wilson was right behind him. So as soon as the ball left his bat, he was off. Once he saw it on the ground. See right there, second hop, he's already 3/4 of the way over. Wilson, no choice but to go to first base with Barmes.
And a good job by Clint, George, to get the ball in play behind the count 0-2.
Yeah, let's see what Todd Helton could do after that big home run on a high fastball yesterday to right field.
Great chance for the Rockies to break on top, and a fastball in there for a strike at 92. Todd in his career has hit .360 against the Pirates. Playing at PNC Park, it's one of his favorite road stadiums to play in. And that gets by. Here comes Fowler. He's going to score easily. Boy, that ball hits the dirt, gets away. You take advantage. What a wonderful job by Dexter Fowler. A leadoff double, and he scores without the benefit of another hit.
Well, you've got to be able to read the ball out of the hand and recognize a lot of times with catchers, they'll spread out wider on a breaking ball than they do a fastball with a man on. That's not the case with Diaz. So this is just a curveball that's whiffed on by Diaz. That's a ball he's got to catch.
1-1 on Todd. 1-0 Colorado. And Helton hits it on the ground to LaRoche. 2 outs. Let's take a look at the Pirates defensively. The outfield made their first error of the season a few days ago as Nyjer Morgan. They've been very good. Andy LaRoche, Jack Wilson, Freddie Sanchez, Adam LaRoche in the infield. Robinson Diaz is behind the plate. I think that's a good call, George. You hear they charged Diaz with a pass ball on a wild pitch.
Yep, they should have. He should have caught that baseball on a throw in. By the way, good news when the Rockies score first, 23-5 on the season.
Brad Hopp, 4th in the league in hitting. And here's the 0-1 to Bradley. Fouled off. Fans, feed your Rockies fever at Taco Bell. If the Rockies go on to score 7 runs tonight or during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bells the next day between 4 and 6. Get 4 tacos for $1 with the purchase of a drink. You know, George, Dexter scored there. This is going to shock you. So Rockies have been playing great baseball. Dexter's been very solid. That's the first run he scored in 10 ball games.
That's amazing to think about that. Now, he had 1 day off. He had a day off. What was it, yesterday, maybe the day before, whenever Gonzalez started at center. I think it was Friday night, or excuse me, 2 nights ago. A day game yesterday, thinking it was Sunday.
Easy.
What a fun kid to be around. I was around him today at the Boys and Girls Club's clinic, baseball clinic this morning. Had 150 kids. He, Jeff Francis, Manny Corpus were all there.
Back up the middle, a base hit for Brad Hopp. You know what? Dexter got the biggest cheer of everybody that was introduced. And kids gravitate to him.
Well, they do. He's just a big, happy kid, big smile on his face. He was the pitcher on the mound today for base running, trying to teach a little bit of the base running going on over there. And he did a very good job with the young kids. They all high-fived. Took care of it. Manny and Jeff both did a wonderful job in the pitching department. So it was a fun day for boys and girls clubs throughout Colorado, not just the Denver area. Had kids in from Greeley, Longmont.
Here's Tulowitzki. Time for our Douglas County Water Pick'em. Here's how you do it. Go to FSNinsider.com. Check out the Douglas County Water Pick'em. Pick a team to win and see how long your streak can go. And the 3 topics we have tonight, three things we have to pick from, George.
Yes.
Who wins the ball game tonight?
Rockies.
All right. I mean, that's tough for us. We're not going to pick the other side. So the other two categories tonight is who has more hits. Which team has more hits?
Rockies.
I like the Rockies too. Pittsburgh more of a light hitting club. Which team strikes out more?
I'm going to say Pittsburgh.
I don't see a ton of strikeouts on either side.
No, they're both ground ball guys, so you're not going to see a whole lot.
I'll go with the Bucks also. This ball's fouled off.
Quite a difference between Ollendorf and what Marquis did. Marquis 10 pitches to work through his inning. He had some traffic out on the base pass. 17 now for Ollendorf in this ball game.
Rockies have a run. Leadoff double by Fowler. Moved to third on a fielder's choice ground out by Clint Barmas. Scored on a pass ball by Robinson Diaz. Tulowitzki, a .460 career stick against the Pirates. Boy.
He thought it got away. Yep, thought it got away. Now you're getting a little run down. There's 2 throws, 3 throws. Going to get Hop at second.
And just don't get hurt. So the Rockies get a run in the first inning. They break on top 1-0 over the Pirates. Lead it off for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Let's get it down to Alana Rizzo with tonight's Mike Shaw Auto Update. Alana?
All right, Drew, thanks very much. I had a chance to talk to Rockies pitching coach Bob Apodaca yesterday about the success that his starting pitching staff, not just Jason Marquis, but the staff in general has had in the last 2 weeks. He laughed. He said, well, I certainly didn't sprinkle pixie dust or wave a magic wand. But the thing that has been different is the fact that one quality start has really bred success for the rest of the team. It all started with that first win back in Houston. Then, as you all know, they went on to sweep St. Louis and Milwaukee. I asked him about it, and he said, you know what, it's amazing what a quality start can do, but I also think that my pitching staff, it doesn't feel like hard work anymore. It's not something that they're really thinking about. They're just pitching versus throwing, which is what we talked a little bit about yesterday with Ubaldo Jimenez. He goes, success breeds success, and these guys have it right now. He said, I also think that starting pitching is what helps sustain a winning streak, guys.
Well, I would agree with him, Alana. I think that's very true, that starting pitching does, because if you don't have it, you're not going to win. But I also think that a lot of the pitchers are buying more and more into the philosophy of what Bob's trying to put across to this pitching staff about how to handle situations.
This kid at the plate's been red hot, Delwyn Young. He's got a hit in his last 8 ball games. .469 average. Here's the 3-1. He was tardy with the swing there. I was talking to Jason Marquis a couple days ago, George, and I said, is there anything different? I mean, you've been at this for a long time. He's 30. He's had great success. He did two things differently as that misses. Two adjustments, and maybe you could speak to this, George. He says he's staying over the rubber a little bit longer, and he's lengthened his stride ever so slightly. And he said for the first time in 4 years, he feels like he has a good slider.
He has a good extension to the plate. Without good extension, you're not going to have a good slider. But by staying over the rubber longer, it allows his glove hand or his hand to get out of the glove quicker. And you watch sometimes out of the windup, he'll have a bigger hip turn and a higher leg kick. And by doing that, it sets it up to allow him to get back there. And what we're talking about, we'll show you right now. Out of this windup, watch how this leg's going to kick back and allows him to stay up. Now, as he starts to come forward, watch the hand's going to drop out of the glove quickly, so the glove's not that far behind, or the hand. Anytime the hand's laid out of the glove, the ball's up in the zone.
1-1 on Andy LaRoche. He had a good series at Pittsburgh against the Rockies, 5 for 12. A couple days ago, Andy and Adam both homered in the same game. That misses.
So when was the last time the brothers, two brothers in the big leagues, have homered in the same game?
I don't have that information, but I do have this bit of information. It is the 11th. They are the 11th pair of brothers to homer in the same game.
The last to do it was Edgar and Adrian Gonzalez of the San Diego Padres.
You know what?
I just threw that out there. It's just, you know.
You remember, George, in the air to center field, shallow center field. Dexter's got to come hard. He'll get there. Speed's a wonderful thing, George.
It sure can outrun a lot of pitchers' mistakes, let me tell you.
That's a tough ball to read because you had the big swing. It's dusk here at Coors Field. Do you always find it harder, George, to find the baseball at dusk?
Well, I think so. The sky plays so much a role in it. You got a little bit of a gray sky up behind home plate now. It depends, too, on what color of shirts and how many people right behind home plate to pick it up off of the bat so easy.
So in the crowd, it's a whiteout behind home plate.
It's not good.
Not good.
It's not good. Particularly, you would think more for outfielders, but it's actually for the infield. There's a lot of those line drives coming off bats that are on the ground. You don't pick it up so quickly.
Robin's on Diaz at the plate. One out and one on. A few white shirts sprinkled in there.
Guys that just got off work.
This is chopped to third, and they get an out, and safe there. Wow, that was a gutsy play by Stewart. He got it to Barmes, and Barmes did something a little different there, George. He stretched like a first baseman because he knew it was going to be a bang-bang play.
Well, that's the deal. I mean, he read the speed at first base, plus he knows and realized this is a pretty high chop ball that Stewart short hops. And then he has such a strong arm that allowed him to extend out and get away from the base runner. You know, he's so far away by stretching out at second base, you eliminate a guy from taking your legs out from underneath of you as a second baseman, and then you got to have quick feet. And a strong arm over to first base. Nice job by Barnes.
Yeah, nice job all the way around. They almost turned that thing, and Stewart made a very good feed on the move, attacking the baseball.
There, look how close this really is. I mean, it's probably about as slow as the ball's moving. Folks, it appears that it's probably 2 or 3 feet out in front of the glove, but it was a fairly bang-bang play at first.
Jack Wilson takes low, 1-1. Seems every July, phrase, Jack Wilson is rumored to go somewhere. He's a guy that hit the bottom of the lineup. He handles the bat fine. He's got occasional pop. He's a great fielder. He's still in Pittsburgh, though.
Well, I think, too, he's kind of like the identity thing that went on with Jason Kendall. You know, he was the guy in Pittsburgh, the leader, the ones the fans look up to, and I think they made that mistake once. They won't again. The Rockies lead it 1-0.
No, that guy didn't play with Frazier. That's Honus Wagner.
Golly, I wanted him on my team so bad, though.
You would have had a lot better career, Frazier. You made 2 World Series. Would have been in probably 2 more. Honus Wagner, World Series in 03 and 09. Hit .275, 9 steals, 9 RBIs. He's even better during the regular season. Former Pittsburgh great Honus Wagner, Hall of Fame. Troy Tulowitzki. Yeah, he got to see George 4 or 5 pitches, and then a ball in the dirt. Brad Hopp tried to go to second and ended up in a rundown. And so now Troy will resume his at bat, start fresh with a new count against Ross Ollendorf.
Advantage Tulowitzki now too, and it's going to be up to Diaz behind the plate to maybe change up a little pattern on him. Once you've seen that many pitches and have been able to look at it, it's something that you might want to change and go back the other way, or another philosophy on it. There's a fastball on the inside. Tulowitzki tried to get to it. Ollendorf's given up 11 home runs in 13 ball games. How about Tulowitzki against Pittsburgh? You know, you talk about Helton, his favorite yard. Tulowitzki, 460.
460. Yep. That's good stuff. Have a delayed strike call by Laz Diaz. Laz behind home plate. Eric Cooper's at first. Mike Riley, the crew chief's at second, and Chuck Merriweather's at third.
Laz normally has a pretty big strike zone.
This ball hammered to center field. McCutchen going back. He's a spectator. Another home run to dead center field for Troy Tulowitzki. Make it 2-0 Colorado. His 10th home run of the year.
And I think he's thrived as Jim Tracy has moved him up into the batting order. And a mistake up by Ollendorf, that's where he gets hurt because he doesn't have the velocity to blow by people. And now all of a sudden you look up and Tulowitzki's gone to center field again. Taking it to the deepest part of the ballpark, Troy Tulowitzki.
Here's Ian Stewart. Off the plate, ball 1. Watch this on the Hyundai cam.
Well, I love for it to watch the hitter's eyes. Watch Tulowitzki as this pitch comes in, folks. Look how he sits back on it, sits back. Look at that. I mean, you talk about really just kind of. Here's a base hit down the left field line. Isn't that cool on the Hyundai camera? You just see a guy lock in with his eyes, and they get really big when it's a heater belt high.
You know, that's one of the great advances in our coverage over the last few years, the Hyundai cam.
Well, there's no question it is. There's a ball away, a sinker that's up in the strike zone again, and they just took it to the opposite field.
Good piece of hitting there.
Yeah, really good piece of hitting. The one arm in the outfield you can have a little advantage on. Morgan in left field. He's a left-handed thrower, not a real strong arm. He's got a left field arm, but fairly accurate. Now, if he hits his cutoff man, Wilson and Sanchez both very strong arms in the cutoff situation.
Carlos Gonzalez, who hit his first home run in a Rockies uniform yesterday. And he shortened up. I'll tell you what, Stewart, it strayed pretty far off the bag, and that's why you saw the snap throw to first by Diaz.
And it was a snap throw, a couple of big hops there, and then he's looking. And what it tells you, folks, an awful lot, that you've got to be conscious of what's going on with Ollendorf when he's on the mound and how many wild pitches. He's only thrown 1, but you also look at the other side of that, how many pass balls for Diaz. Does he try to backhand a lot of balls? You know, guys that work in the bullpen a lot are guys that are backups. I'm not saying Diaz is that, but a lot of catchers that do a lot of bullpen work get into bad habits, and they start to backhand versus block, and it can cost you in ball games. It already has cost him 1 run so far.
In there for a strike, 1-1 on Carlos. Carlos has hit safely in 7 of his last 8 games. 23-year-old tearing up AAA upon his call-up. 340 average, 10 home runs, 59 RBIs, most in minor league baseball. There goes Stewart, and it gets away from Diaz. Stewart is going to stop after a wide turn at second. I like this, man. They're being aggressive on the base pass, George, and they're forcing the issue.
Well, it's obviously Chris Warren saw something in advanced scouting of the way they received the baseball on balls in the dirt. He's asking for the ball here, and then look at the outreach to go get the baseball, trying to backhand the ball versus getting out and blocking the baseball. I know it's difficult there because he's set up on the outside. Well, you can't allow runners with nobody out to move into that position. Now let's see what Gonzalez does as a hitter. Does he think RBI or advance to third on a ball to the right side?
By the way, Stewart gets a stolen base there. He was going on the pitch. That's the fourth bag for Ian, and it's now a real favorable count for Carlos Gonzalez.
I was impressed yesterday with Gonzalez when he went out on the outer half of the plate and hooked that fastball up into the seats.
This ball lined to second. That is the first out of the inning. So Gonzalez hit it hard, but he hit it right at Freddie Sanchez.
Now their defensive alignment pays off here with the second baseman and a slide pull. Jack Wilson playing up the middle. The ball hit right at him. Joe Kerrigan out to visit with him. Kerrigan was the pitching coach in Boston. He's been in New York as a bullpen coach and has come in this year and taken over as the pitching coach. And really what he's done is a little bit of the Dave Duncan theory. It's not so much about stuff, but placement of the baseball and situations of where you are in an at-bat. If you're behind 2-1, the ability to take a little off the fastball and run it to the outside corner, the ability to throw the breaking ball when you're behind in the count. He's trying to get them to really think about every pitch that they throw.
Chris Iannetta, 9 home runs, 23 driven, and he'll take his first look at Ross Ohlendorf. And this is pulled into the seats, foul.
And one thing Don Baylor has done in his workouts with Chris Iannetta in the cage is he's put a very heavy bat in his hands. And the reason behind that, he's wanting to get more bat head to the baseball. He had a deal going where he was chicken winging a little bit. His arm was coming up under the baseball, lifting everything, versus throwing the bat head at the baseball. Well, you saw what happened the other day. Ricocheted a double and then hit one a mile up into the seats.
Groove has Dexter Fowler swing a really heavy bat during batting practice. And Seth Smith today using a big bat, hit 3 off the facade of the upper deck in batting practice.
The kid at Don, I said, you want me to bring my big bat? And he said, what big bat? Very quickly, 78, no bats, had a pretty good lineup. A. Ray Smith wouldn't buy bats. I drove to Louisville, and there was a guy named Greg Paul there. I said, biggest bat ever taken out. He goes, 46-46, Babe Ruth. I said, really? I said, can I have one bigger? And he made me a 47, 48-ounce bat. I've got it at home. Lee Smith and I took BP with it in Chicago in 1985.
Use at the
and
bench press.
I told Smitty, I was kidding Don, I said, I'll bring it and you let those guys hit with that thing. He said, well, they're not going to break it. I said, no, you're not going to break that one. It's like swinging a tree trunk.
Troy Tulowitzki with his 10th home run in the inning. That's the most by any shortstop in big league baseball. Derek Jeter has 9. Hanley Ramirez has 8. Think of how slow a start Troy got off to after the opening few ball games. He was hot the first 3 or 4 days and then really tailed off, and now he's swinging the bat like he can. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Chris Iannetta. Ribby out there in the person of Ian Stewart. He takes off for third.
And we've seen this with the Rockies the last couple of days. Remember the other day, Troy Tulowitzki twice stole with 2 outs. Now Stewart realizing he had a pretty good jump, and I think it's more because of the defensive setup than you have anything else. Here's a hard sinker. Iannetta, look at him pull the hands inside trying to get it. Oh, ricocheted right off the top of his thigh.
Well, Andy LaRoche has creeped a little closer to the bag, opening up a little more of that hole between short and third. Just a subtle thing.
Yeah, but Sanchez has also come over now, all of a sudden starting to hold Stewart on after he tried to steal third base.
Move those infielders a step or two, George. That could be the difference between an out and a hit.
Well, there's no question. Think a minute ago on the line drive hit by Gonzalez. If Freddie's not playing where he is, you got a base hit in the gap and a run in. Now look at the Iannetta here trying to get after this baseball down and in, able to hold it up. That stolen base, what it does also, it pulls your attention away from the task at hand, which is at home plate. In the back of your mind, you're thinking that is he going to go?
Here's the 3-2, strike 3.
Slow hook on a 3-2. See, again, that's Kerrigan's ideas of doing things, Joe's. Of doing it the opposite of what a hitter will think you're going to throw in that situation and have the confidence to do it. To me, that appears to be a high breaking ball called a strike, you know, as it comes in. But because it's framed within the works of the strike zone, he ends up getting it called a strike. See how far out Diaz is. And then the ball stayed. It's over the plate. I just thought it was a little high.
Well, he's not out of the woods yet because Jason Marquis, one of the better hitting pitchers in the game, has got 4 RBIs this year. He takes ball 1. And Marquis, you know he loves this situation, a chance to help his own cause. 2 outs. Stewart at second, 2-0 Colorado. On the corner, 1-1. RBI leaders in the National League among pitchers. Big Josh Johnson out of Oklahoma has 5. And then Gallardo, no surprise to see Mike Hampton there. Micah Owings, no surprise. He has 2 home runs this year.
Well, do you notice one pattern that Ohlendorf is doing here with Marquis? 1, it's all fastballs. 2, everything's away from him.
Yep.
Any good hitting pitcher usually cheats on the fastball pretty well. And so as a pitcher, you're trying to stay out of the hot zone for him, which is going to be this middle half area right in here. So everything you try to work, you're trying to work it away from him.
This ball's hit pretty well to center field, real well. McCutchen going back, still going back. He's going to get there. The edge of the track, McCutchen, who is very shallow, hauls it in and saves a run. Rockies get another on the home run by Tulowitzki. 2-0, they lead. Top of the 3rd inning, Jason Marquis and Ross Ohlendorf, the pitchers. Drew Goodman back upstairs with George Frazier. We're joined by Jennifer Hansen. And we started this about a week ago. We didn't start this. Major League Baseball did. They're honoring all-stars in the community, people who have gone the extra mile, if you will, with things they're doing to help out their community or the larger community and the world community. In fact, a gentleman we met a few days ago with Operation Cure. Jennifer, what is it that your project is all about?
Sure. Well, I am the president of the Internet Safety Foundation. We are a nonprofit dedicated to working to keep kids safe online throughout the state of Colorado.
Which is very important. Something George and I didn't worry about 25 years ago.
Yeah, well, I still don't now because I don't have a computer. But, you know, with young children at my house, obviously with my daughter 17 and I have a son 20, and, you know, I think what you're doing is absolutely wonderful to make everybody aware of what's going on, because what you're doing is neat with the bullying and everything else that goes on. It's kind of the hidden. People hide behind those computers a lot.
They sure do. The essence of anonymity and the illusion of anonymity is a big part of this for kids.
Ross Ohlendorf takes strike one. Jennifer, to me, the greatest innovation in my lifetime is the computer and the internet. I mean, it's amazing. I have one open every night. Most broadcasters do. Marquis, what an athletic play that was. On the bag, help. That's a great stretch by Todd. Got to watch that one again.
Well, it's a very athletic play on both ends, folks. And you just can't put a value on what it is to be an athletic pitcher, and then to have a guy at first base with some gold gloves up on the rack and the ability to catch so many baseballs that are a little bit offline at times. And this ball's going to cut. Todd's going to have to stride out to get this ball and get a little semi-splits.
Todd never realized that the ballet class he was taking in the offseason would actually come into play during the regular season, but it did there, Fraser.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we continue on with Jennifer Hansen, who is the president of a 2-year-old company, Internet Safety Foundation. And I was starting to say, as Andrew McCutcheon steps in, that it is the greatest innovation in my mind in our lifetime, the internet, but with it a whole new set of crimes and, unfortunately, predators also.
Absolutely. And our mission is never to say don't use the internet or stay away from it. Our mission is always to educate families and parents about how to use it safe and smart and keep their kids safe while embracing technology, because that's the world that our kids live in.
Do you believe in blocking various websites, or is there another approach with your program?
Sure, we actually advocate for families to make those choices for themselves. Some families feel like filtering software is the way to go, and some families make other choices in terms of teaching their kids about safety.
I think the key to it all, and again, I mentioned raising our children, is that to know what they're looking at.
Exactly.
You know, I'm not saying I have to stand right behind you every day, but guess what? Whatever site they go to or what they're talking about, it stays on there. It's not hard to go find out what's going on in your kid's life.
You bet. One of the basics we try to teach our parents is to know where and when your kids are online and know where they're visiting.
Yeah, one of the things is McCutcheon strikes out 2 outs, and Nigel Morgan comes up. You know, look at that pitch one more time. A slider that disappeared on McCutcheon. Didn't see that at the minor league level too frequently. That kind of pitch. But with being online, one of the things that bothers me is, and George kind of touched on this, is that I think a lot of young people feel like they can expose way too much themselves. And I'm not talking about literally. I'm just saying information. I mean, maybe where I live, or, you know, I have a brother, a sister, a mom, and a dad, and they do this, that, and the other thing. And we would never be that forthcoming with information to a stranger on the street, yet a lot of kids feel free to do it on the internet.
Sure, and part of the problem with that is you don't get the reaction from the other person on the other side when you're typing on a screen. Kids forget that World Wide Web means just that, World Wide Web, and once you put it out there, it's out there forever.
Well, Jennifer, this is obviously a very worthwhile organization. We commend you for your work here in the state of Colorado. Internet Safety Foundation, and I suppose you can go online to find out more about your group.
Sure. Our website is internetsafetycolorado.org, and we have resources for teachers, parents, kids. We have a whole set of podcasts that our young teenagers have put together for parents to load on their own kids' iPods and on their own computers. And it's by kids, for kids, teaching them about internet safety in their own language. And it really helps kids be advocates for themselves also about being safe online.
Again, that's internetsafetycolorado.org. I'm bringing that home.
Good.
Jennifer, you a baseball fan?
Yes.
good.
She's got her purple on.
Purple,
purple and black. She's up. I like it.
My parents have been season ticket holders from the start.
I want to ask you, did something happen in your life to make you want to do this?
You know, not personally, but in my job, I work with technology and kids all the time, and I hear their stories and see what they're doing online. And our foundation is represented by several people who prosecute crimes.
Good for you.
And their stories will definitely make you want to get involved.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's amazing to me with Facebook and all the other stuff that goes on. I mean, of course, I had some personal experiences with my daughter, but kids are too forthright. Just what you said of saying, oh, I'm going to the game at 6. I'm going to go eat here at 8 with my boyfriend. I'll go at 9 to, I'm going to go to a movie Saturday night. And they put all this out there for everybody, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I'll just drive over here and meet you to watch your football game, and I'll go to the movie, and I'll go. And that's why I said, there's some things better known to keep private. What you're doing is really neat, and I'm very proud of what you're doing.
Jennifer, thank you for coming by, and continued success with this endeavor.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
You bet. That's Jennifer Hansen, and she's got the Rockies out in front 2-0 over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Strike 3 on Niger. Dexter Fowler will lead it off, and he takes a pitch inside, ball 1. Dexter, in the bottom of the first inning, roped a double down the right field line. He would come around to score, moved to third on a fielder's choice by Clint Barmas, and then on a pass ball came home. Todd was trying to tell him to stop. Helton was at the plate. He said, I'll drive you in. Hang on a second. 2-0 on Dex. Got a changeup or maybe just a BP fastball, 2-0.
And that's one of the best pitches to throw. When you could throw between 88 and 90, back it down to 83, 86 with the same action, same arm motion. You get a guy out on his front foot.
3-1. And George, it's not a changeup. It's just I'm just taking something off.
Oh, you just take something off the fastball, but your body's telling the hitter it's 92. All of a sudden you go, oh, and you're way out on that front foot. You've already started everything, and you roll through it. Get those nice little ground balls. Oh, that hurt.
Ooh,
oh, buddy, you okay? Oh, man.
Get help back into his seat. You see that probably twice a night around ballparks in big league baseball.
Well, you'll see it on a lot of highlight reels tonight, too, when you go home. It'll be on the news. The guys I feel sorry for, Drew, the older gentlemen that work the third and first baseline in San Francisco, they hit the news about twice a week, going after balls, tripping on the turf, falling down. I mean, it's great, folks, because they get retired guys to come out and get
they call
ball dudes.
Yeah, they call them the ball dudes.
The ball dudes, put them in uniform.
This ball is lined to right. It was smoked, but right at Delwyn Young. One out. That'll bring up Clint Barmas. It'll also take us to Alana Rizzo with tonight's great Colorado Payback Sideline Report. Alana.
All right, Drew, thanks very much. You guys have already mentioned that Ross Ohlendorf went to Princeton, as you might imagine. A pretty intelligent guy, but early on in his career, he was a little bit too cerebral. He tried to overthink and analyze too much, always tweaking his delivery and really second-guessing everything he did on the mound. But this guy, very smart, you guys. Back in the summer of 2006, he went back to New Jersey to defend his senior thesis, and you'll never guess what it was. Whether the June draft is the most cost-effective way to acquire amateur talent. I think I did mine on, you know, women versus men in sports and how much it's televised. So he's a very, very smart guy, but overthinking a little bit too much. Doesn't do that so much anymore, but that's the way none of us, or all of us, can't get into Princeton.
Drew, do you notice something else right now?
What's that?
Look at his uni. Give me a head to toe, guys.
Yeah, he's got.
What's it? One leg up, one leg down.
What's that all about?
Well, it just fell down. It's what happened to tape broke.
This is to left field.
By the way,
will make the catch.
By the way, I wanted to check to see how close he and Chris Young were together. Is that right, Chris? Yeah, Chris Young with San Diego. Yeah. They're 4 years apart. Young's 4 years older than him.
They're turning out a lot of big leaguers, though. The Princeton Tigers.
You know what I think a lot of it has to do with, too? They don't get the opportunity to play a large number of games. I mean, they play 45, but the weather gets a lot of their home games. And I think that they realize they're playing against pretty good talent because they go down south at the early part of the season when the weather's bad. And there's a lot of kids today that put such a high value on the education, you know, at Princeton to go. And if, hey, you know what, if I get good enough, maybe I'll go play a little pro baseball. If I don't, I have my Princeton education, or I have, you know, and again, a great example of this is Dan O'Dowd's son, Christopher, is going to Dartmouth. I mean, it's an absolute wonderful thing.
It's a perfect scenario. And congratulations to Chris. He's had a great career baseball-wise. This is lined to deep right, and it's going to short hop the wall. Todd's got to dig for second, and he'll slide in with yet another double as he closes in on 500 in his career for the season. That is Todd's 16th two-bagger.
Well, he does play pepper in this big ballpark out there with these gaps, and he does it here, too. Got a fastball in, and if you can't get it in on Todd Helton, you're going to get a bad result out of it. You see it on the Hyundai cam right here. Hands in tight to the body, but good extension out front. Out over the head of Young in right field, and Helton off to the races, scoots into second.
13 doubles shy now of 500 in his career. You know, the game of baseball has always been about the numbers, and there are magical numbers. We all know about 500 home runs and 3,000 career hits. One that is not spoken frequently about is 500 doubles. That is rare territory, though.
How many years was it in a row? 2, I think, that Todd had 100 runs scored and 100 extra base hits. Was that right? It was like he had 55 doubles or something crazy, 60 doubles. Speaker has the most doubles in the history of the game at 792. That's a whole bunch.
Doug, how many guys hit 500 doubles?
48 of them.
48, that's it. Change up, good pitch, 1-1. Ground ball base hit last time up for Brad Hopp. With runners in scoring position, we've run this stat out since the opening few days of the season. Brad at 414, better than everybody else in the league. And he's going to raise that average a little bit more. Helton's going to come around. Hopp's going to go to second with a double, and the Rockies lead it 3-0. Brad Hopp coming through yet again. 48 RBIs for Hopp, and he leads baseball with that 24th double.
Yeah, see that ball down very low into the strike zone. Hopp able to clear the front side and just drive it down the right side. Delwyn Young scoots over underneath the baseball. It's under his glove. Hopp into second, Helton into home plate to make it a 3-0 ball game. This tandem of Helton and Hopp, folks, is starting to remind me an awful lot of the Walker-Helton era, of the Vinny Castilla-Walker, how they just fed off of each other with line drives and doubles and RBIs. You know, I'll get on, you knock me in type attitude that Walker and Helton had, that, you know, Walker, Castilla, Bichette, and those guys. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, you know, and chatting with Jim Tracy earlier, the Rockies are in a good place. And he said, you know, we're not hitting on all cylinders yet offensively. And he's speaking the truth. I mean, you look down that lineup, Iannetta is throwing out some good ball games. He's yet to really catch fire. Carlos Gonzalez just getting his feet wet at the big league level in a Rockies uniform. Ian Stewart. Tulo's come on. You know, so there's a lot of room for this offense to improve, even though it's been performing at a very high level the last couple of weeks.
Well, and the one thing I see out of Tulowitzki, the home runs, the RBIs, hitting in a 5-hole, 6-hole. Ian Stewart, 12 home runs, but his average down from what it normally is. Tulo's raced his almost 60-some points, and he still has a ways to go, but obviously is on fire again.
Here's the 1-2, and Troy pops it up right side. Adam LaRoche makes the catch in the inning. The Rockies continue a pattern of scoring a run in each inning. They're up 3-0. Well, Brad Hopp in Pittsburgh drove in a bunch of runs. The Pirates were glad to see him leave town, but now they're seeing him once again in Denver. He's doing the same thing, driving in runs. Drove in the Rockies' third run a few minutes back. Outside the Box brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now, try the mini Buffalo Ranch chicken sandwiches, 3 mini home-style chicken fillets on toasted mini buns. 0-1 on Freddie Sanchez. Freddie got credit for a base hit his first time up on a strange play. Nyjer Morgan was at first base. He was hit by a pitch. He took off to try to steal second, and the ball that Freddie hit was headed right for Clint Barmas, but it caught Morgan's foot and ricocheted into the outfield. Mike Riley didn't see it. He's the second base umpire. Laz Diaz, the home plate umpire, did see it. If you get hit as a base runner with the baseball, you're automatically out. Freddie Sanchez stayed at first base. He gets credit for a single.
Boy, great pitch right here. Here's what Drew's talking about back in the first inning with the runner moving. Just caught him right on the shin, redirected the ball into the outfield. One more look at it off of the bat. Had his head down as he was trying to steal the base. Was not a hit and run, I don't think, Drew, because he kept his head straight focused on the bag, and that's why the ball ended up hitting him. If it was hit and run, he heard contact, he would have tried to look for the baseball.
2-2 on Freddie Sanchez. A couple of good sliders in this sequence from Marquis. See where he goes here. Goes fastball up and in. Tulowitzki gathers his feet And he throws the high heat over to Todd Helton. 1 out in the 4th inning. That'll bring up Adam LaRoche. Windshield chipped or cracked, don't wait. Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. LaRoche hit a 1-hop ground ball right to Todd, his first time up. Former Atlanta Brave, former teammate of Jason Marquis. You may have seen as we went to break in that first inning, LaRoche was taking his batting helmet off, and Jason Marquis went over and chatted with him for a moment. George, I would imagine this is probably the same thing when you played, Frage. See, there's 3 days left for the Boys and Girls Club raffle. Is that you've played either in the minor leagues, another play for Todd, in the minor leagues or in the Cape Cod League or Alaska, the Boulder Collegians for you. You end up having played against half the guys, whether you play with them or against them.
The biggest difference today versus when I played even 10 years ago, you didn't talk to them. I talked to them after the game in the hallway. I mean, it was, you used to have an umpire that would sit out here in the stands and watch you in batting practice. And if I went over and said hi to Drew and say, how you doing, man? How's the family? It was $50. And they would just write it down, and you get a note in the mail, $50 for sitting out here and talking to the opposition prior to a game, whether it's a batting practice or not. And of course, obviously, now they all hug and kiss and how you been and everything else, you know. And back then, oh, you did that, you didn't do it. And I remember a great story, and I've shared this with you before. Dale Maxfield and Bob Gibson were teammates. Teammates. And there's what Drew's talking about a little bit. Brad Hopp visiting with LaRoche, but they're kind of walking away when they're doing it. But Maxfield got traded to the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they've been roommates for 6 years with the Cardinals. Maxie obviously had his house in St. Louis, so when he came back in town to play the Cardinals, they got on the elevator together going down, and Gibby doesn't speak to him. Gibson does not say a word. They get off the elevator, and Maxie goes, what the heck's going on? Gibby said, hey, roommates, buddies, all this? He goes, I may drill you in the head tonight. I ain't talking to you. Turned around and walked off. He threw it behind his head first time up.
Is that right?
Roommates for 6 years.
All's fair in love and war.
Yeah, Dale Maxfield telling that story when I came up with the card. I was shocked, you know. And then, of course, I saw Bob Gibson a couple of times away from the ballpark. He wasn't a very friendly guy. You know, you see him at the park, he was just, you know, hey, you're a Cardinal, I'll talk to you. But, I mean, it was kind of a strange deal.
Young fouls it off, 3-2. I'll tell you a guy that still adheres to that rule, Trevor Hoffman. And I've asked him about it. And he said, George, exactly what you said. He goes, you know what, my friends, I'll visit with them in the hallway after the ball game. I can call them on my cell phone. But before the ball game, before we're getting ready to play, I'm not walking over there.
No.
No way.
No.
Ball 4.
Well, if you want to have a good time at the ballpark, one way to really do this is take off and go buy one of the suites here. And again, it's a neat deal because if you buy one, you get one free. How cool is that? 303-312-2444. Come out to the yard, get in the suite. They're full here tonight. The fans having a lot of fun watching the Rockies on this win streak take on the Pirates on a Friday night.
And another great crowd, Phrase. The rock pile's filled up. Portions of the upper deck are filled up. Second level is mostly filled.
Hey, by the way, another neat thing that went on today that I saw the Boys and Girls Club thing up. The Rockies gave each child 2 tickets today to come to a ball game.
That's
how neat is that?
Yeah,
about 100, I think there's about 200 kids there today. And the Rockies gave out 2 tickets to each child. You can bring your dad or friend or a brother to the ballpark.
On the ground to Tulowitzki. Nice pickup on the short hop, and on the move he throws out Andy LaRoche. Yep, we were at a Boys Girls Club off Kentucky near Federal. There's Frage, Jeff Houston. A lot of fun today. 3-0 Colorado. And Express Toll, the best way to save time and money. Pirates are in over the weekend. Then Sunday after the ball game, we'll head to Anaheim. And the Angels next on the menu for 3 days. Then it's to Oakland. This ball's fouled off by Ian Stewart. And then down the highway, George, to Dodger Stadium. And the Rockies will get back inside the NL West. And it'll be interesting with the Rockies matching up inside the division again, because they're a completely different team than what the division has seen prior to the last couple of weeks.
I still think the back end of their bullpen and back end of their rotation is going to cost them.
The Dodgers?
Yep, I really do. I think and they're going to get Manny back, what, in a week, 10 days?
July 3rd.
Yeah, July 3rd, Manny comes back. You know what? I agree with Tracy Ringlesby on something.
First time.
Yeah. No. Tracy and I have breakfast every night, every morning. Well, sometimes nights after the game over
I was going to say, most people have breakfast in the morning.
We have, but we go eat it an awful lot.
Okay.
I mean, we like breakfast because, well, whatever.
Well, you're good at it.
But anyway, I agree with Tracy. Why is it a minor leaguer gets a 50-game suspension? He doesn't get to go down to the minor leagues for 7 to 10 days and get in shape to play. That's one thing I think Major League Baseball is wrong, to allow Manny to go down and get ready. And it's almost like a rehab assignment for 7 to 10 days prior to coming back July 3rd. He should be better penalized than that.
One out, Carlos Gonzalez, who lined to second, is what will it do? I mean, his bat is, a great bat. You can't question that. He's one of the great right-handed hitters of all time. But Juan Pierre in his place has played very well, and it's going to be interesting to see how Joe Torre massages that situation, because I know everybody put a good face on it. But I know also that there were players in that clubhouse that were really disappointed and shocked that in this day and age he would test positive. And I'll leave it at that. And I don't think it's just a foregone conclusion that he comes back and the Dodgers, roll on. They may very well. They have a very good team.
They may well have a great offensive team. The pitching, the backside of the bullpen. Broxton's very, very good at what he does down there. Obviously, they got an 8-game lead right now over the San Francisco Giants. The Rockies are right behind them at 10.5. The National League West looks like this coming into tonight. Frisco 9 back, Colorado 10.5. San Diego, Arizona.
2-2 inside. 3-2 on Carlos Gonzalez. 1 out in the 4th inning. But you know what I mean. I mean, Manny's a great player.
There's no question. He's a tremendous hitter.
He's a Hall of Fame talent. And you're going to be better putting him in the middle of the lineup. But now you sit down Juan Pierre. Maybe they trade him for pitching, but it's a big number.
Better be careful. You got to find somebody who wants to take the contract, too. Oh, man, he got the head out on that one. Drew, here's something that amazes me today. Everybody, hey, look at this pitch again on the inner half. Everybody understands something in baseball. The players. They're going to test you. Why do you want to do something so stupid that not only do you cost yourself, you're costing your teammates? I don't understand that. And then when you come out and say, well, I didn't think it was on the list. You didn't think it was on the list?
There's a 24-hour hotline. There's a website that the players have access to that you can check out.
Hey, Drew, more so than that, and with Parker being in minor league baseball now, obviously I'd see a lot of this. They give you a book with a list of what is right and what is wrong. There's no excuse.
He knew exactly what he was doing. Let's take a look at our Geico quote of the day as Gonzalez is a fly ball victim to the left. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Chris Iannetta. We had a lot of triple threat guys. Slip, fumble, and fall. Joe Garagiola as a Pirates catcher on the poor Pirates teams of the early 50s. Triple threat guys. Slip, fumble, and fall.
I still really enjoy when you go to Arizona. Joe Garagiola will be around at times. This ball will get in the seats.
Still does some ball games.
Yep, still does a few games once a week whenever Mark Grace is gone doing his major league duty, or I should say Big Fox duty on Saturdays. And Joe will come in and do a ball game. And, Joe's some of those guys that I like to sit down with and just ask a question and let him go. When it comes to the history and the playing of the game and up in, in Yogi's house up on the hill in St. Louis and everything about it.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, he and Yogi grew up together in an Italian neighborhood in St. Louis.
Up on the hill.
Up on the hill. We've got up there and eat.
And that restaurant, oh my goodness, that restaurant up there, you could sit and eat for days. And they just keep bringing it.
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike on Chris Iannetta. Joe Garagiola, I'll go one step further. I loved him when he was on the Today Show.
Oh, yeah. How personal was this guy? Huh?
He really was. Still is. That's a good changeup. 2-2. Rockies up 3-0. They have out-hit the Pirates 6-1.
Following the Colorado Rockies on your iPhone and iPod Touch with MLB.com at Bat 2009, featuring play-by-play, real-time box scores, video highlights. Visit ColoradoRockies.com on your iPhone or iPod Touch to purchase.
All right, Dougie did a little research. We were talking during the commercial break. Ross Ohlendorf out of Princeton. Greatest Ivy Leaguer of all time. That should be easy. Lou Gehrig went to Columbia. Then there's some names, and we may run out of time here in this inning. I'll run at you of terrific major leaguers who went to Ivy League schools. How about Eddie Collins, George? He went to Columbia.
Who went to Yale?
Ron Darling.
Yeah, but no, who was the guy? Now, who did you just say went to Columbia?
Eddie Collins.
Well, no, because I'm thinking a left-handed guy that played with me as a switch hitter with the Minnesota Twins in '87. He went to Columbia or Yale, and he broke records. Okay, I got to think of this guy's name.
On the ground to first. You'll have time. We're going to go to a commercial break, George. Put the thinking cap back on. First for Ohlendorf in the game, a 1-2-3 inning, and the Rockies do not score. 3-0. The Rockies lead as we go to the 5th.
They've out-hit Pittsburgh 6-1. Diaz will be the first up, then Wilson, then the pitcher Ohlendorf. So we'll see what transpires here with Marquis as his pitch count is down. It's been very good through 4 innings. I think that's the key to this, with the bullpen a little bit short tonight. It will allow Marquis to work deeper into the ball games. Here's the what's happened in this ball game. Ohlendorf, he's pitched well for Coors Field. 6 hits, 3 runs, a walk and a couple of strikeouts. Marquis has walked 2 batters, but the ground ball has been his friend. 8 ground ball or 9 ground ball outs now for Marquis in the ball game.
Robin's on Diaz, pounds it in the ground foul. Quickly a 2-strike count. 1-2 on Diaz. Reached on a fielder's choice his first time up.
You know, we were talking earlier about Ivy League players. You brought up Gehrig in Columbia. A guy named Gene Larkin. That's who it was. Switch hitter with the Twins. Broke a lot of Gehrig's records at Columbia.
All right, you came up with that.
No, I didn't. Doug did.
Doug did? Can't remember.
Doug comes up with everything.
3-2. I got some other ones for you. Mike Remlinger went to Dartmouth. You mentioned Ron Darling went to Yale. Doug Glanville, remember Glanville could run with the Phillies? He went to Penn. Jeff Musselman, he went to Harvard. Here's the 3-2. Look out, bat goes flying and the baseball's fouled off. It's not often you see the baseball and the bat end up in the seats. Is everybody okay? Everybody apparently is okay. Good.
Oh, boy, they hate that. Man, they hate that.
Scary.
Yeah, it is. Going up into the stands like that to give the bats up. And a lot of times you get an autograph out of them, a lot of other things. But holy cow. Great catch. Well, a lot of times what they do, the guys leave, what do you want to trade with me? And he said, I got the bat. It's in the stands. It's mine. But a lot of times what they'll do, that may be a favorite game bat. So what they'll do is go in the locker room and get another brand new bat with his name on it and give him that bat and bring the one down from there. Fans don't understand it. A lot of times they start booing and yelling at the guards.
Oh, what a hit by Stewart to help that he picked it. Oh, what a play by Ian Stewart and what a pick by Todd Helton. You'll be watching that again later on.
How about that? I mean, you know, it's becoming a highlight reel every night with everybody in this infield, the backhand. Then he doesn't step and throw. What he does, he just kind of stands up and fires over the top of it, far enough away from Todd, able to handle the scoop. See, now here's what's going to happen to guard. You're getting another look at this right now. His fans are booing a little bit down there at first because of the bat deal. You're going to take the bat down and ask him if you want it, or does he keep it, or what do you want to do with it? Guard's got it right there in his hand. So do you want to switch it out, or what do you want to do with it?
Jack Wilson takes a strike, 1-1.
You talk about having to be very relaxed as a first baseman with the hands. But you see how Todd's eyes and everything, he just follows everything right into the glove. It is amazing the number of errors that he has saved infielders that have played for the Rockies over the course of the years.
Hundreds, literally.
I mean, it is. You just cannot, folks, put a value on a guy like Helton at first base.
And, folks, he works on that. And one of the ways they do that is they'll hit fungos at him from about 80, 90 feet away on one hop.
Out at second base is where they go to do that. They stand out at second so it stays on the dirt all the time. And so that way you're not going to get a true hop constantly. You know, as great as he is now, could you imagine him on AstroTurf? All those guys throwing it on the turf, he'd never miss one.
No. 2-2. Wilson just got a piece. That was an adjustment, George, for the Pirates. They were your old stomping grounds. You mentioned in the Twins. They were at the Metrodome the last few days, and a lot of guys were talking about having to play on the turf. And you know, Tony Beasley was telling me, the third base coach for the Pirates, he said it was a big adjustment for him because the ball gets to the outfielders so quick when you had a runner in scoring position.
They get there very quick on that turf. It's slick, and as a third base coach, you look up, a lot of times they're coaching from short left field because of the balls that get jerked down the line. When that stadium was open, the turf was real spongy. And so, you know, they'd see the ball bounce an awful lot. Now it's not that way. And then Beasley at third base, you know, he's got a pretty good tutor, too, on this ball club for third base coaches.
Yeah, Rich Donnelly.
Yeah, Rich Donnelly, one of the best in the game.
That's good play by Tulowitzki. Tulo saying, all right, I see what you did, Stewie. I'm going to make a play for myself also. That's how you win baseball games, George. I mean, you pitch, and there's nobody you love more than the left side of the infield when they were making plays for you.
No, you just sit back. And I was sinker baller. I mean, you love it. You know, you want to get them involved as much as you can on this, and then he gets guys like, you know, Tulowitzki, Stewart, particularly because you're going to work right-handers in. So they're going to cheat to open up, and they're going to pull a lot of baseballs.
1-1 on Ross Ohlendorf. And Stewart is going to be challenged again. And he gets Ohlendorf. 3 very, very fine plays. Good pitching by Marquis, safely through the 5th with a shutout, 3-0. Baseball on FSN is brought to you by your Colorado Hyundai dealers. Buy any new Hyundai and get up to $5,500 in savings. America's best warranty and Hyundai Assurance Plus. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Dex, take the sport out of finding local information with Dex in print and online at dexknows.com. And by Burt Subaru, lease a new 09 Impreza for only $179 a month. Rockies up 3-0. It'll be Jason Marquis and then the top of the order. And let's get a fun fact from Alana Rizzo. Alana?
All right, Drew, actually, I'm going to call you Goody and Frage and Huey, and I'll be called Riz because this one's all about nicknames. This is Ross Ohlendorf's nickname. His teammates started calling him Mr. Wonderful because his last name, Ohlendorf, is very similar to the former professional wrestler Paul Orndorff. Now, that guy's nickname was Mr. Wonderful, so the Pirates teammates started calling Ohlendorf Mr. Wonderful as well. Now, you might know Paul Orndorff. He's best known for his appearances in the World Wrestling Foundation and World Championship Wrestling. I'm pretty sure, though, Ross Ohlendorf, being from a Princeton grad, doesn't wrestle in his spare time. You guys might, however. Goody, Frage.
Well, see, I'm kind of like Goody. My grandkids are as old as Goody's kids.
Marquis rips on the right.
That's where I wrestle.
And Marquis going to move up.
Well, that's just nothing but laziness in the outfield by Young. And he knows that he's disappointed. You can see him jerk his head around. He's very disappointed in that effort. You can see that on the look of his face.
Second error all year on the outfielders of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Well, here it is, fastball up. And we mentioned at the very top of this ball game that what happens with Ohlendorf gets the ball up, the fastball flattens out, velocity decreases, so that allows it. Let's see Marquis looking up as he's jogging into first. He said, hey, I get second pretty easy here.
So Marquis at second base and Dexter Fowler at the plate. Pirates came in to the ball game tied with Philadelphia for the best fielding percentage in the National League. The Rockies middle of the pack. Dexter in the ball game, a double and a line shot to deep right. He has been on Ohlendorf on every swing tonight, George. You can see a guy that feels comfortable up there with what he's seeing. Well, that's been the case tonight with Fowler facing Ohlendorf.
Some guys, you just pick the ball up better. Some guys make mistakes with it.
Ohlendorf.
Get it out when you can. You don't want to run it wild over to the left side. That's for obvious reasons. Good sacrifice for him to come up. Let's take a look at their arms now with Marquis at third. And you're thinking about a fly ball coming in. You look at Morgan in left field. The strength of the arms about average, a little below average. And then Andrew McCutcheon's average all the way across the board for me. Young's average is the fielding side of things. We've seen that a little bit. But above average with his arm strength to the plate. The Rockies lead of all of baseball with sacrifice flies with 30. Minnesota, Milwaukee right behind them with Houston and the New York Mets.
And this gets away momentarily. We almost had another run scored on either a pass ball or a wild pitch. Marquis thought about it. Now Marquis one of those pitchers. He's not going to err on the side of self-preservation, George. He may go run over the catcher.
Yeah, I know, and that's one thing that's kind of fearful of Tracy and those guys because, you know, he just doesn't have a motor that runs in park very often.
Nope.
There's no idle to his engine.
Here's the 1-0 to Barmes. And Barmes, that'll get the run home. Deep right field. Delwyn Young sets up. And he's got no shot to get Marquis. Good piece of hitting there by Barmes. It's now 31 sac flies. What a contrast to a year ago where the Rockies for a period of time couldn't buy a sac fly.
Yeah, no question. How about some small baseball, though? And an error in right field allows Marquis to get the second. Marquis moved over on the bunt, and then Clint doing his job, driving in his 35th run with a fly ball to the right.
George, you took the words out of my mouth. You got a two-hole hitter in Barmes with 35 ribbies. I mean,
how about that?
He's almost on a 100 RBI pace. Todd's got a double tonight in 2 trips.
Now watch out. Dougie, when was it or how long ago was it that the Rockies, and I think we've got to go back to Bichette, Walker, Ellis Burks, and when Todd first came up, maybe 5 guys drove in 100 on the ball club, or was it 4? 4 guys? Thanks, Doug.
Todd, a base hit the other way.
Like a magic wand, isn't it?
I've been watching, George, and I want to share something with you. He's a really good hitter.
He's really good. Yeah, you know, and I don't know what it is, but I keep reading where he's hit like 334 in his career, and he's like in the top 5 all-time in the history of the game. Sinker down and away, not trying to do too much with it. Look at the side swing here. When he strides out, folks, these hands are going to drop. But a lot of times they stay real close to his body. But see how he gets a little bit of extension on a ball away from him. But everything's just so perfect.
How about the head right on the baseball?
He didn't, you know, he knew he made solid contact. That ball was fair by 25 feet. He didn't know if it was fair or not. He just knew he hit it hard and it was like, oh, I better run.
Brad is 2 for 2, a single and an RBI double. He moves his average again above 340 and 341. And he was flat on that heater. Ohlendorf's lucky that Brad's not trotting around the bases. There's the hit again by Todd. Eight hits for the Rockies, just 1 for the Pirates. And Hop hits it in the air to deep center field. Did he get it? Yeah, he did.
Have a night, Brad Hop.
2-run shot for Hop. 50 RBIs. And the Rockies make it 6-0. He kind of one-hand flipped that thing 430 feet.
We tell you what, there's that sound, folks, of the bat. When it meets the rawhide, it sounds a different sound. When he hits, it has that different sound. It may have been one-handed, Drew, but look at that follow-through. The Arnold Palmer whip around in baseball. Just carried and carried. Well, Tulowitzki's ball was lonely.
Yeah, that's got a friend. Here's Tulo right now. 10 home runs, 50 driven in for Hop, and he's hitting in the mid-340s. Everybody right now, get online as you watch this go out on the Hyundai Camp. Get online go to MLB.com, and would you write Brad Hopp's name in for the All-Star game? Because he ought to be in St. Louis.
Well, I think everybody in baseball realizes that. I know that Manuel realizes that in Philadelphia, and I think they realize it's amazing to me. And the Rockies have been drawing wonderful crowds here for the past 10 days. That Brad Hopp is not in the top 15 among outfielders and vote getters. That is flat amazing.
Outside 1-2 on Tulowitzki, who homered in the second and popped to third, or popped to first in the third. Sean Burnett tossing.
By the way, I asked Doug to find out how many times the Rockets had had 4 or more guys with 100 RBIs. 96, 97, and 99.
Now they're going to have a bunch of guys with probably 75 plus this year. Brad Hopp going deep. Rockies scored 3 times in the inning. It's 6-love. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivering a double, is Andrew McCutchen. And you know what? I wish Andrew didn't do that for a myriad of reasons, but I was just about to say, George, quietly, Jason Marquis had allowed 1 hit, and the only hit was a ground ball to second that was kicked by Nigel Morgan. Otherwise, he hadn't given up any hits.
He'd been
right there.
Still outstanding, and that ball hit into right center, and the ball a little bit up into the strike zone. Starting to just view his pitch count a little bit. It's at 77 in the 6th. You know, so for Marquis, who's worked and gone up to 110 pitches this year. That was in his most recent start against Seattle. Went 7 innings in that game. The reason I bring that up, 6-0 lead. The reason I bring that up is with the shortage in the bullpen tonight. But as the Rockies widen the gap, a lot of times you're a little more comfortable as a manager running different guys in there to get through the last 3 innings.
Morgan at the plate, and he fouls it off. Wow, that was loud. That hit one of our microphones because it sounded like that in my headset. There's Bo Wave. Who do you like at Wimbledon this week, Bo?
Stop it.
He's the biggest tennis fan in Denver. Left field. And Gonzalez makes the catch. Time for our Affleck trivia question. Rockies up 6-0 tonight. The Pirates have had 16 straight losing seasons, tied for the longest in big league history. What are the longest streaks in the NBA, the NFL, and the NHL? Well, the Penguins are Stanley Cup champions. And last Sunday, the entire Penguin roster took the Stanley Cup to the Pirates clubhouse, which was a great thrill for all the Pirates. And of all the trophies in sports, the most famous is the Stanley Cup. I mean, there's something special that players all get to keep it for a day and a half, ground ball to second. And the guy who is really soaking it up maybe more than all of the Pirates was Niger Morgan. There's Andrew McCutcheon. Niger's now in the dugout. Now, the reason is that Niger played with several of the Penguins in the Western Hockey League. Niger Morgan was quite a hockey player. He believes had he not, he gave up the sport to play baseball. He also had a young daughter as a 19-year-old. And he said, you know what, I got to start, I got to go back to college and get my degree and so forth. But Niger Morgan was a very talented winger. And it was a great thrill for him because he has skated with some of the Penguins. He's played against and with some of those guys, and there they are in a baseball clubhouse toting around the Stanley Cup. So he said, I got some great pictures.
When he should have.
Two 2-0 on Adam LaRoche. 2-1. Jason Marquis has one complete game this year. He has a string of marvelous outings. 4-1 with a 2.08 ERA over his last 6, and his outing tonight not damaging that ERA. It's helping him. 3-1. That's a good pitch, George. That's a savvy, talented veteran pitcher. Even though he's up 6-0, LaRoche can hit the ball out on you. He didn't give in 3-1.
No, nor should he. He's got a 6-0 lead right now. So you think some guys say, if he hits it out, it's 6-2. No, I like 6-0 shutout. I'm going to make the pitch I need to make.
And he just missed. So that'll bring up Delwyn Young. Third walk allowed tonight by Marquis. 2 outs, 2 on. To answer the Affleck trivia question. Pirates have had 16 straight losing seasons, the longest in big league history. What are the longest losing streaks in the NBA, the NFL, and the NHL? I'm going to say the Clippers probably had the longest in the NBA for a while. NFL was it Tampa?
Detroit.
Detroit makes some sense.
Tampa.
The NBA was Kansas City, Sacramento, the Kings. And the Canucks in the NHL from 76 to 91. That's interesting stuff. And then the 82 Canucks went to the Stanley Cup Finals with a losing record.
Now, I like this move here with these guys because you saw Jim Tracy yelling along with Tommy Runnels, the bench coach. They wanted help behind LaRoche. Left-handed hitter. If he pulls the slider, I want you on the line to be able to handle it. Look at this. Good job. Pays off.
Nice defense. Nice alignment.
Managing the game. You like it. 6-0 Rockies. Here he's got that middle finger laid right on top of that big seam, so when he gets out front and rotates it around, he can get the good break. Look at the extension where the arm angle is, kind of a low 3/4 as the ball's delivered to the plate. Watch that pull right here at the end off of that baseball. That's what's going to create the good downward plane. That was the Frost Brew Coors Light Freeze Can.
Well, the Rockies up 6-0. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and it's 5 and fly for Ross Ohlendorf, who gives up 6 runs on 9 hits. Didn't walk a batter. He struck out 3. Jason Marquis has been terrific. He's getting ready to hit. He'll be up 4th this inning. Ohlendorf gave up a couple of home runs, 5 of the 9 hits for the Rockies, extra base hits, and he gives way now to Sean Burnett.
32 games he's appeared in, 27 2/3. A left-handed type specialist. Very good earned run average at 2.93.
And that pitch is high to Ian Stewart. Stewart a single and a stolen base back in the 2nd. Struck out swinging in the 4th. Carlos Gonzalez from the left side is on deck. Then Chris Iannetta. You like to see consistent offense, George. Run in the 1st for the Rockies, run in the 2nd, run in the 3rd. Retired 1, 2, 3 in the 4th, and then they got 3 last inning. So they have scored 4 of the 5 frames tonight.
Consistency, consistent pressure too.
And because of the offense, it's overshadowed the performance of Marquis, who's given up really one legitimate hit all night.
How about that, huh? A couple of walks in the ball game, but other than that, he's 3 walks, excuse me, in the ball game. He's been outstanding. You know what he does really well? He paces himself very well.
McCutchen in center will gather this one in, 1 out. There's Nyjer Morgan. We were talking about his hockey exploits, and I'll tell you another hockey story with the Penguins. You know, the guys, George, they're guys that keep the Stanley Cup, and Nyjer was talking about getting pictures with the Stanley Cup. They're guys that it's their job with the Hall of Fame out of Toronto to make sure wherever the cup goes, they're with them guarding it, right?
Yeah.
And they were taking it to Mario Lemieux's home, the great former Penguin and, you know, Hall of Famer and owner of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Well, they got really lost trying to find Mario Lemieux's house. So they pull up next to a cop and they say, hey, you know, we got the Stanley Cup and we're trying to find Mario Lemieux's house. The cop said, well, you're not even in the right town. I'll take you there. Well, as they talk and the cop got interested, he wanted to see the cup. They show him the cup. Next thing you know, there's 40 people on a street corner. Everybody's taking pictures with the cup.
Well, why not?
All right. And they finally found Mario's house.
Like you're going to walk out with that and nobody's going to go, we want a picture? Come on.
There's some great stories about where that cup has been.
Some that can't be told.
Yeah, there's many that can't be told. 1-2, and Gonzalez doesn't get the breaking ball.
Boy, a pretty good looking hook there at 78 miles an hour. Kind of a big swerve slider type deal. Right out of the hand on the Hyundai Cam. I mean, he's trying to stay on it the best he can. He got a little bit out front of the baseball, then ends up right in a perfect position on the outside corner.
Chris Iannetta, a strikeout and a ground ball to first. Nine hits for the Rockies, just 2 for the Bucks. Rockies at 14 and 15 at home. A win will get them to 500 there, and it'll push them to 34 and 33 overall. Last time they were over 500, George, they were 3 and 2. Two and 1. And since May 21st, the Rockies have the best record in baseball. It's about a month worth of games. They're 18-9, second best mark in the game, owned by the Boston Red Sox at 16-10. Well, the Red Sox got beat tonight at Fenway by Atlanta. Then you have the Angels playing good ball. The Dodgers, they have not They've not let up off the gas pedal this year. The Twins at 16 and 11 over the last 4 weeks. The other conversations I had with Tony Beasley, the third base coach of the Pirates, he's talking about the Twins, and I said, you know, they always play hard, they play right. And he said, yeah, they got a tough middle of the order. Strike 3 with Mauer and Morneau. Pretty good club in Minnesota again. Good inning for Burnett. We'll go to the 7th. Marquis in charge. Money by Tough Shed. Storage buildings and garages. Call 1-800-BUY-TOUGH or visit them online at toughshed.com. And by the Colorado Lottery. Don't forget to play. With George Frazier and Alana Rizzo, I'm Drew Goodman. Gorgeous Friday night in Lodo. And the Rockies with a gorgeous result so far. They're up 6-0 as we go to the top of the 7th inning. First of 3 against the Pirates. Rockies 5-1 so far in this homestand. Andy LaRoche steps in against Jason Marquis, and the first pitch misses, ball 1. Andy LaRoche, fly ball center field, and a ground ball to Tulowitzki. Not a good place to hit it. On the corner, nope, a little bit off, 2-0. Marquis 92 pitches into his evening's work. And it's 3-0. Pirates have lost 4 straight ball games at Coors Field. Not won here since 2007. (3-1) and it's chopped to short. Told you that's a bad place to hit it. He throws on the run, George, as well as any shortstop in baseball.
Yes, he does. But you know what? You mentioned that's a bad spot to hit it. So's all these places too.
Yeah.
Everywhere around that infield right now is a bad place to hit it. All these guys could pick it.
It's just there's a confidence, a collective confidence that's palpable. I mean, you can just sense the difference when you walk in the clubhouse, when you watch this team move on the field. Remember how we were talking, George, a month ago, how bad the body language was many nights?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, there again, wrong spot again, pal.
Diaz is gone, 2 outs. All right, George, bear with me for a moment. Talk for a second, because I got to count up all the ground balls that Marquis induced.
It's like 14.
No, I'm going to go get them.
Well, it may be a little less than that. I'm not sure. 16, actually. But go ahead, keep counting.
Oh, you already did it.
No, I already had it down.
Yeah, Dougie got it. 16 in 7 innings. Not even 7 full. Jack Wilson at the plate, takes outside. You know this is a lot of fun for? Chris Iannetta.
Well, sure it is. Catchers are having a ball when this happens.
George, I have to go back to something that we discussed a start or two ago about Marquis. He has a better sinker than I ever remember seeing him a couple times a year in the past. Would you agree with that?
Yes, but I think the reason behind that, Drew, is right here. See the overemphasis on the fact of really extending, and that's fine.
Yeah, he just looked
inside. Yeah, he looked inside to Jack Wilson. He gave up one, and that's a rarity. That's just his second home run of the season for Jack Wilson.
Yeah, Pittsburgh gets their first run on the round tripper by Jack Wilson.
Well, one more look at this, but watch, see, he stands off the plate anyway, and that ball stayed about center cut when he made contact with that.
They'll go to their bench in the 9-hole. Brandon Moss will pinch hit. But going back to his sinker. I mean, he gets that choppy ground ball when he's on, like Aaron Cook does.
Well, he gets because they're catching so much top of the baseball that everything's just staying up and bouncing right in. I mean, here it is again. Going to get out of the inning, gives up a home run. Veteran move, just come back, throw another ground ball out.
17 ground ball outs. Jack Wilson gets the Pirates on the board with a home run. In 1972 at Three River Stadium, Roberto Clemente hits a 2-run home run to become the Pirates' all-time RBI leader. The right fielder's 3 ribbies give the future Hall of Famer a total of 1,274 in a Pirate uniform. Evan Meek is the new pitcher. Third utilized tonight by John Russell. Ohlendorf went 5, gave up all 6 runs on 9 hits. Burnett, a scoreless inning. 1-2-3 inning, in fact, in which he struck out 2. Jason Marquis will lead it off for the Rockies against Meek. th appearance for Evan. Solid numbers. They're missing Tyler Yates on the plus side for Pittsburgh. Yates has an elbow injury, but he's getting close to coming back.
Well, that's going to be a big part of what they've got going on, too. I stepped out just for a minute. You know why I did? Don't you, Drew? I was over talking to Jackie O'Dowd. No, I was over talking to Jackie O'Dowd. Dan O'Dowd's beautiful wife. Their daughter, she is in the Miss Colorado teen pageant, and Georgia won the Miss Oklahoma, and so the Miss Colorado's coming up here at the end of the month. So we're having pageant talk.
Pageant talk. I would have very little to add to that conversation.
You're absolutely right.
3 O's in there, 3 and 1. Other than to say that you all both have beautiful daughters.
It's just a blast for me to go to these and see the talented young girls. Oklahoma had 31 of them in there, I believe.
Marquis fouls his shot. Hey, Marquis tonight tattooed on a deep center that if Andrew McCutcheon didn't run a 4.35 40,
4.25
yeah,
40,
wouldn't have caught it. And then he ripped a base hit to right that was bobbled by Delwyn Young, and Jason took advantage, got the second base, and would come around to score on a sac fly by Clint Barmas. 3 and 2 on Marquis. Marquis studying the outside corner. I mean, that's how competitive it is. He went out there, he thought it was wide. Disappointed he punched out. Let's get it down to Alana again with tonight's Mike Shaw Auto Update. Alana?
All right, Drew, thanks very much. The College World Series on the minds of several Rockies teammates. Brad Hopp from LSU, Chris Iannetta, North Carolina, and Houston Street and Omar Quintanilla from the University of Texas. I was talking to Q earlier about whether the guys had made any bets with one another about how far their team is going to go in the College World Series. He said, not yet, but I'm certainly going to be knocking on the lockers of Iannetta and Hopp shortly. He said, but Houston Street and I did have a bet about our high schools in Texas, both of their high schools in the Final Four in the state of Texas to go on to the state baseball championship. He said, on the line is going to be dinner in Oakland, so we'll have to see how far they go, guys.
Yeah, and Q's high school, Quintanillas, where's Omar? We got to find him in there. Socorro High School in El Paso. He's probably a hit, George. That's what, as you know, guys do that are coming off the bench. They just walk upstairs. Rockies have 2 indoor cages.
They got one with an iron mic and one where a guy can throw live to them, and they have a guy that stays dressed during the game that throws live.
And 2 on Dexter. 1 for 2 and a sacrifice. And this is chopped to second. Freddie Sanchez. Two outs, and that'll bring up Clint Barmas. The Pirates, Frage, had trouble scoring last time they were in Denver. They had a 4-game set here last July, and in the 4 ball games they scored a grand total of 9 runs.
That's not good. What that tells you, the Rockies pitching was pretty good.
And the Rockies pitching has been very good the last 17 days. 1-0 on Barmas. Mentioned Atlanta won in Boston tonight at Fenway, Georgia. In that ball game, the former Pirate Nate McLouth hit his 12th home run for Atlanta.
8-2 in that ball game. Dice K struggled again, huh?
Dice K has not had a good year.
No, he hadn't.
That's pop foul and out of play.
Well, if you want to come out to Father's Day, bring them out to the yard. Grab Dad and say, come on, let's go. Because if you do, the first 20,000 through the gates are going to receive a baseball cap courtesy of Furniture Row Shopping Centers. Pirates are going to be in town June 21st. That's this Sunday. Don't forget, kids. Bring Dad out to the yard and watch a little baseball and pick up a cap from Furniture Row Shopping.
2-2 on Clint. Good job. How nice has the 2-hole been to Clint Varmus? 27 ball games, 35 for 100, 350 average, 19 RBIs.
Pretty special, huh?
13 runs scored. That's real special. And Varmus hits it in the air to right center field. It's going to hang up there. And it's hauled in by Young. 1, 2, 3 inning for Meek. We go to the 8th, 6-1 Colorado. Spilborgh's had on defense, took a home run away there, and then later in the ball game, even more difficult catch, taking extra bases from a Pirate hitter. Doing more on defense, brought to you by the Home Depot. The work of Ryan Spilborgh's when the Rockies were in the Steel City. Andrew McCutchen 1 for 3, a double, and he takes inside ball 1.
One thing that Tim Tracy's and Bob Apodaca is going to watch now, does it become a struggle or a fight for Marquis? You know, does he start to get out of the strike zone? Is the ball coming up into the zone? Does the sinker still have sink? And the first 2 pitches are an indication to me, a sinker at 89, slider at 82. Everything's still working pretty good right now. You know, and what you're worried about more than anything else, or nasty. Nasty.
How about that sinker?
That was beautiful. Yeah, Marquis, 5 complete games and 211 career starts, but folks, that's a big time sinker. It's just going to bite on the Hyundai cam. Look at this thing all the way underneath the bat of McCutchen to get a strikeout, and McCutchen hit a double on a ball up away from him in his previous at bat.
And Nigel Morgan slaps it to short. What did I say earlier, George? Not a good place.
Well, anywhere out there on the dirt right now is not a good spot to hit it. The point is, this pitch count's going to stay down pretty good if he can get a quick out here. Freddie Sanchez, though, pretty patient guy. 107 pitches thrown in the ball game for Mr. Marquis. 64 of those have been strikes.
And only 4 this inning. 4 pitches. Tulo's got 8 assists tonight. Yeah, you're in a middle infielder, and you got Aaron Cook or Jason Marquis on the hill. Man, you can't wait to get to the yard.
Well, you know you're not going to be standing around a lot. you know you're going to get a lot of balls hit to.
Up the middle, base hit for Freddie Sanchez.
See, the other thing going through Jim Tracy's mind, he knows he has a 5-run lead. He's got his matchups the way he wants them right now. He's got Peralta and Embry both going. He's looking at the lineup card to see where to go. He's wanting to know if they're ready to go in the bullpen. There's Embry, there's Peralta. And he may let him face LaRoche, but I don't know that he'll let him. You know, Young's a left-handed bat too. You see where it falls after that? But he's also going to want to see, you know, he's not going to let Marquis sit out here and get beat up. He's going to go to those bullpen because he trusts those guys down there. And Drew, you've heard me talk about this numerous times. How a manager can instill confidence in the bullpen as much as the bullpen instills it in him.
I have heard you say that many times. Adam LaRoche pokes a single to left. Freddie Sanchez is going to go to third. And Carlos Gonzalez, rightfully so, throws the ball to second base to keep LaRoche from moving up. Tonight's high-speed pitch is brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet. Ohlendorf hit 95, Marquis at 93. But Marquis has had the much better outing. Ohlendorf gone after 5 innings in which he allowed 6 runs.
Now, Jim Tracy just turned and talked to Bob Apodaca, and I think it was, you know what, we're going to give Marquis this guy. And I want Peralta ready to come in and face LaRoche. Andy LaRoche, a right-handed hitting third baseman.
And this will do it. 9 assists for Troy Tulowitzki. 8 outstanding innings for Jason Marquis. What a job. 6-1 Colorado. Airlines. Southwest Airlines is ready when you are. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. By Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. And by Mike Shaw Chevy Saab, Colorado's crossover and SUV headquarters for 50 years. Visit MikeShawAuto.com. Yeah, if you're pitching coach, you get to use the phone quite a bit. You hope not to use it a ton, but Bob calling down there, and I'm sure they'll utilize somebody in the pen for the final 3 outs in this ball game. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. And though it's not a safe situation for the Pirates, obviously, their closer's out there, Matt Capps.
And he's obviously been very, very good. You know, when you look at his numbers, 16 of 18 saves. Guy that throws strikes, throws hard. Last fastball 93 with a little late tail to move it. Scary moment for him. because of the line drive about a month ago, hit right off the elbow of his pitching hand on a Tuesday night, and he was back on Friday night.
Well, it's a tough guy. Two balls, two strikes on Todd. He scored a couple runs tonight. He's 2 for 3, a double in the third, single in the fifth. And Todd down the line, fair ball. Chance for another double for Help. Now tonight, Todd Help, 3 for 4, 2 doubles and a base hit.
Trying to get a fastball on the inner half of the plate to him. It just stayed out over the middle, and then Todd just jerks it, and it just stays fair within inches down the right field line. As it gets down into that corner, it's Helton in scoring position with nobody out. You know, the one fear you have as a manager, too, we're talking about Todd's quest for 500, is that when you do put a closer out there to get an inning of work, that it doesn't blow into 25, 30 pitches. You'll see a lot of times managers will send them out there. But if they get around the 15 to 18 to 20 pitch mark, they'll pull them out of the game.
No, he don't want to lose him for tomorrow. This is punch to second. They finally get Brad Hopp out, but Brad moves the runner to third. So it's a productive at bat for Brad Hopp. Today's Speed of the Game brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Look at this. A smash. Stewart able to throw him out with a little help from his Gold Glove first baseman, Todd Helton. That's a gorgeous play. Defensive play of the night. And it's also our Verizon Wireless Speed of the Game.
It's a little unusual for me. You're down 5 runs. I know it's Coors Field, but you're down 5, and they're going to pull their infield in with the runner at third base.
Well, the thinking is you can't go down by more than 5.
Well, the thing is, the grand slam doesn't even tie it.
It doesn't matter. This is going to be a sac fly, if not a 2-run home run. Sac fly. Tulo hit one out in that direction earlier in the ball game. Crowd's really fired up because that's 7 runs. All of you at home should be fired up because tomorrow you can go to Taco Bell between 4 and 6. Get 4 tacos for $1 with the purchase of a drink as the Rockies hit that magic number. 2 RBI night for Troy Tulowitzki. Stewart with an 0-1 count. Single in 3 trips tonight for Stewart. How about Tulowitzki? Talking about how the Rockies have improved with sac flies. He's got 7 of them. That leads the National League.
7 out of 36. Is that right? 7 for 36?
I think it's 32. 7 out of 32.
Don't forget about the great fireworks show coming up July 3rd. The Diamondbacks are in town. It's all courtesy of Lockheed Martin. Tickets are going quickly, so make sure you get on the phone or go by one of the Rockies outlets or go to ColoradoRockies.com and pick up those tickets for the July 3rd fireworks night.
2-2. Todd with that double. Now he moves into 57th place, a 4-way tie on the all-time doubles list. He has 488. He's tied with Jeff Bagwell, Harold Baines, and Mel Ott.
Pretty good bunch of guys to be in that group, huh? Think about
Let me say that
those
again.
names again.
Jeff Bagwell, who will be in the Hall of Fame one day.
Should be.
Harold Baines, who is a tremendous player. And Hall of Famer Mel Ott, who hit 511 home runs, in addition to 488 doubles. 2-2. Broken bat, flare, short right field. Freddie Sanchez runs it down. Good play by Freddie in the inning. Double by Help. Brought home by Troy Tulowitzki. Look who's going out to the mound. Post-game report, Mark Stout will do the honors tonight. Hey, Mark.
Drew, we've got a little barbecue kind of theme going here. You got grilled burgers, as in the pitch burgers, because the meat of the Rockies order got it done tonight. And oh, by the way, if you want a little sauce on your burger, that was another marquee masterpiece. See how we tie all that in? We'll talk about this Rockies as we're anticipating win coming up after the game. Let's go back up to the booth, guys.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. And I have to be honest, when Marquis finished the 8th inning, you know, we have our own scorebook, and in my scorebook, I totaled out Marquis for 8 innings. I just assumed at 114 pitches that the last inning, the bullpen would eat up, and he'd get a big attaboy for 8 wonderful innings. But here he is, looking for a complete game as Andy LaRose steps in toward the hole, and it's going to sneak through. Good pitch and a bad result.
Well, and again, you're just one pitch behind of getting a double play ball, too, with Marquis. That ball's a little bit up into the zone, but, you know, just got the top of it, snuck it through the hole on the left side.
Robinson Diaz, this will help. One pitch, double play. Look up ball, maybe not.
Troy couldn't get his grip on the baseball going over the top of the bag. It was a good feed by Barmas, but again, the pressure applied coming into second base by LaRoche. And when he couldn't get it out of the glove, and then he tried to hurry the throw to first base, and when he did that, it created it. So he gets to the bag here, and then the flip comes over. Here he is coming into him. He tries to recollect, and when he does, the ball just sails away from him as he tried to make up for the delayed time of turning it to the point of adding the velocity, and it just sailed on it. For Tulowitzki, just his fourth error.
It's not an error.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't there. Can't assume it on a double play because the runner didn't advance.
Yeah, no error.
See, as a pitcher, you'd like to see him get one because you're out of the inning.
Right.
Just kidding, Troy.
Jack Wilson homered his last time up. That accounts for the only Pirate run. One out in the 9th. That's fouled off.
Velocity's still there. That fastball at 90 on his 118th pitch of the game.
I like what Jim Tracy's doing. He's setting the bar a little bit higher for his starters. You know, people will talk about, I let my starter go deeper in games. He's had Jimenez go 127 pitches. Marquis going to go over 120 in this one, in all likelihood. 2 outs. 9-hole coming up. Eric Hinsky will come off the bench to pinch hit. If your windshield's damaged, call Elite Safelite Auto Glass 303-287-5000 or visit safelight.com.
Hinsky's been the main pinch hitter, 6 for 19 with a couple of RBIs. 31,248. How about that on a Friday night? That's a great baseball crowd.
So here's Hinsky. Last hope for the Pirates to keep the ball game going. Strike one.
It's great to see this crowd on their feet. Go ahead and run. Plan play. Planned it that way. They'll throw it off the backstop. Ricochet right back to you. Hope you run.
When do you? What day of spring training do you work on that one?
First
George?
one.
First day.
Yeah, and then you don't worry about it again for the rest of spring. Yeah, well off the mark, but it's going to get to the back and then hit those bricks and then shoot right back to Ionetta.
How were you with that particular?
Well, if you did one time throw it, then you were done.
Go to the end of the line.
Go to the end of the line. Start over. If you did really bad, you got to do it again.
Here's the 1-1 on Hinsky, and a ground ball foul. Todd's getting tired. He couldn't even get it to the crowd there. Come on, there you go.
Well, I think you got it there. The guy just didn't catch it. They all got gloves down there on that side, which you'd like to see when you're sitting that close, but.
2 in the air, center field. It's going to drop. And it's going to score a run. Diaz scores, and it's 7-2.
Yeah, Jim's going to go out and get him too. Yeah, the pitch count right at 123.
You know what?
Well, he might not. He's going to go
ask him.
Yeah, you know, that's the old trip out there that when they run out there like that, typically they're not going to make the move with him. Look at him. He's looking at him. I'm fine. Sit. You know, if it's not 7-2, folks, he probably would have jerked it. If you're looking at a 2 or 3 run game.
Yeah, no
5-run game right now. He's still out there.
George, did a pitcher ever come to the, excuse me, did a manager ever come to the mound when you were out there and you worked out of the pen and asked you how you felt and you said, you know what, here you go, I'm done?
No, but I've yelled at a couple of them. What are you doing out here? But there were some other words we don't use on TV to get him off the mound and leave me alone. Yeah, how many guys would go, well, you know what, I will say this, Drew. When you get further into the game, you kind of realize your body. And you may say before the 9th inning, Skip, I'm getting tired. You know, I don't have much left in the tank. And you know what? If he goes, well, can you get me one more? And you go, well, yeah, probably. Then he's done. You know, but that's a veteran guy telling you that. And that happens a lot. If the guy's out of the tank, that they recognize it versus going out and trying to be gutty, it might cost you a ball game.
Right field, Hopper slides. It's going to get by him. Look out, because McCutchen can fly. This may be an inside the Parker. McCutchen around third will stop. And now you have Nyjer Morgan coming up. Will Jim Tracy give him one more hitter?
You know, he's asking down there right now, I think, if Embry's ready.
Yeah, that's going to be it.
Yeah, Jimmy let him go, and now he's not going to make the mistake. He's at pitch 125. He did his job with the bullpen short tonight. These people need to get on their feet and give this kid a standing ovation because Marquis was very good.
You know what? And Jason Marquis is going to appreciate that Jim Tracy gave him every opportunity to complete it. What a tremendous job by Jason Marquis. On a night the bullpen was very short, Marquis goes 8 2/3. He's had an all-star first half also. Apodaca. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast. For unlimited local and long distance, call 1-800-COMCAST.
Alan Embry will come on to face the left-handed hitting Morgan and see if he can't handle this in 26 games, 18 1/3. Overall, a 1-2 record for Mr. Embry.
Swung on a miss. Embry can still run it up there. 92 on that heater.
Absolutely can run it in there. Still got pretty good command with everything and run a hard slider down and away.
0-2. Tonight, Frage, and I know you appreciate this again because you're living down there. This is his 872nd appearance in his career.
Wow,
that's
impressive.
30th all time.
Very impressive. Yep, very impressive. Allen's done a nice job through his career to get out and do the things he needed to do to have continued success. It's very something to be very proud of.
0-2, good pitch. You know, in a couple of weeks, he's going to pass an old teammate of yours who was quite a pitcher, quite a closer, Jeff Reardon. Reardon appeared in 880 games.
Yep.
And he recently passed Phil Niekro.
The amazing thing about Niekro, majority of his career as a starter.
Those knuckleballers, I mean, we're going to be talking about Wakefield for another 2 decades. 0-2, high. This ball game, the only non-interleague ball game in the big leagues. 1-2, 2-2.
Yeah, it's a couple of sliders trying to overthrow him a little bit. Didn't have a perfect grip on the baseball. Even though that is the case after 800+ games at the big league level, you don't see an Embry get rattled very often about anything. That is a very good trait to have working out of the bullpen.
On the ground, deep short. Tulowitzki on the move. Ball game. Rockies win 7-3. They've now won 14 of 15. Jason Marquis improves to 9-4.